Hello there, I'm Anita Wu and you're watching Nightline. The headlines. In an unprecedented move, federal government sues Kelantan over Orang Asli land rights. And the third episode of Otto's Hot on Wheels segment. In our headlining story, Putrajaya has filed a civil suit against the Kelantan state government for allegedly violating the land rights of the Temia Orang Asli community in Gua Musang. Attorney General Tommy Thomas, in a statement on Friday, said the legal action aimed at protecting and promoting the well-being and advancement of the Orang Asli is the first of its kind since Malaysia gained independence. He also said the defendants are the Kelantan State Government, Lands and Mines State Director, the Forestry Department State Director and 5 private entities. The lawsuit is seeking, among others, the legal recognition of the Temia Orang Asli's native land rights in Pos Simpor, as well as injunctions to restrain private parties from encroaching upon and destroying the native land for commercial profit. Thomas said the beneficiaries of this suit were the Orang Asli and the litigation would be cost-free to them. He added, although the Kelantan state government has jurisdiction over matters relating to land, forestry and mining, it is also bound by a paramount and non-delegable duty to protect and preserve the welfare of the Temia Orang Asli. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has arrived in London, United Kingdom for a 3-day working visit after wrapping up his trip to Dakar, Senegal for an international conference. He also received a special invitation to deliver a speech at the Oxford Union, making him the first Malaysian and ASEAN leader to address the prestigious debating society in Oxford City. The Prime Minister, accompanied by his wife, Tun Dr. Siti Hasmah Muhammad Ali, is scheduled to deliver his speech tonight at 1 a.m. Malaysian time. He will join other world leaders of the past who had addressed the world's famous debating society, including former United States Presidents Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon, as well as former British Prime Ministers Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher. The 3-day trip to the UK is his second working visit to the country since taking office in May last year. Earlier, Tun Dr. Mahathir emphasised the importance of democracy as a system of governance as one of the factors that bring about peace and stability, as well as propel a country for a more rapid development. Addressing a conference in Dakar, Senegal, the Prime Minister also stressed the importance of attracting foreign investors for development. Tun Dr. Mahathir said peace and stability from within allowed Malaysia to develop much faster, adding that the fruits of democracy could only be attained if the people understood the power of a vote. The Prime Minister stated this when sharing the Malaysian experience towards development during the high-level dialogue session at the 3rd International Conference on the Emergence of Africa, ICEA3, at the Abu Diouf International Conference Centre. Also in the panel was Senegal President Macky Sall and Mali President Boubacar Keïta. In a separate dialogue session, Tun Dr. Mahathir also touched on the importance of cooperation between the government and the private sector.
It is quite clear that antagonism between government and private sector is not something that will help a country or a government. Cooperation with the private sector or the Malaysia Incorporated concept helps the whole country to develop very, very fast.
Speaking afterwards at a media conference, Tun Dr. Mahathir urged Malaysian companies to seize the opportunity to invest in natural resources-rich Africa. He said the opportunity has long been seen by European countries, including Turkey and China. The Election Commission, EC, has set March 2nd for the Semenyih by-election to be held. Its chairman, Azhar Azizan Harun, said nomination would be on February 16th, while early voting would be on February 26th. At a media conference in Putrajaya on Friday, Azhar said 54,503 voters are eligible to vote based on the electoral roll until the third quarter of 2018. From that amount, 53,520 are ordinary voters, 951 early voters and 32 absentee voters.
Tempoh berkempen yang ditetapkan adalah 14 hari bermula selepas penamaan calon sehingga pukul 11.59 malam 1 Mac 2019. Bagi PRK ini, SPA mensasarkan 70% pengundi akan keluar mengundi.
He also said the by-election is expected to cost 1.8 million ringgit. Results on the by-election would also be announced on the EC's Facebook page. The Semenyih by-election is the 6th to be held after the 14th general election on May 9th last year. It was called following the death of its assemblyman Bakhtiar Muhammad Noor from a heart attack on January 11th. In GE14, Bakhtiar of Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia, Bersatu, won the seat in a four-cornered fight with a majority of 8,964 votes. Meanwhile, the EC also said that it is not necessary for election candidates to undergo medical examination. The EC chairman said that making medical examination a condition would require an amendment to the federal constitution.
Itu saya rasa memerlukan pindaan perlembagaan persekutuan kalau kita hendak buat demikian. Tetapi saya rasa langkah sedemikian tidak perlu kerana perkara kematian ni kita tidak boleh jangka. Walaupun dia sihat pun dia boleh jadi meninggal juga. Jadi saya rasa langkah tersebut tidak akan dijalankan.
Azhar said this when asked about the need for medical examination, as many of the 6 by-elections held since the 14th general election last May were due to the deaths of the elected representatives. The apology by Goldman Sachs is not sufficient, and it has to make reparation and compensation to Malaysia, considering its partner's role in the One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB scandal. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said the apology was necessary for this country and its people, but Goldman Sachs must also bear and show its responsibility.
And that apology, of course, goes some way towards that. But that is insufficient. Necessary, but not sufficient. And only when you pay reparations and compensations will that be sufficient. And we hope that they have made provisions of around $561 million US, and that's not adequate. We are seeking 7.5 billion US dollars.
Lim added Goldman must be accountable, as this also involved a breach of financial duty, where the banking industry had the obligation to make good the losses that Malaysia has suffered. Goldman Sachs Group Inc. Chief Executive Officer David Solomon on Wednesday apologised to the Malaysian people for the role that a former banker at the firm had played in the 1MDB scandal. Goldman helped arrange $6.5 billion US in bonds for 1MDB, and Malaysia had filed criminal charges against the bank and 2 former employees for alleged theft. The Home Ministry has vehemently denied links between the change in the Immigration Department's Director General and the cancellation of the 3.5 billion ringgit National Immigration Control System, also known as SKIN. There has been allegations that the new system replacing SKIN was awarded to a different company with connections to the senior officer in the ministry. Through a statement, Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said the accusation is based on mala fide intention and could be the work of parties who are dissatisfied with the proposal by the ministry to cancel the SKIN project. He also said that the decision was made after a special committee had re-evaluated the project in detail, which was found to have been approved and awarded to Syarikat Pelestarian Skin Sendirian Berhad, PSSB, through direct negotiation. Based on the re-evaluation, the committee also found several loopholes on the concession contract and the project implementation. Among them included a lopsided contract whose profit to the company outweighed those of the government's, while the cost of implementation was too high, with limited project implementation scope that does not meet the actual needs of the Immigration Department. Based on these findings, the committee recommended, with the agreement of the Cabinet, for the concession agreement with PSSB to be ended and replaced with a fully online integrated immigration system known as MyMMS Global. The new system would save the government nearly R1 billion through a more competitive, transparent and fair open tender procurement. The ministry is still developing the scope and specifications of the system, and the final tender document is expected to be completed in April this year. He also confirmed that no company has been awarded the contract, as alleged in a news portal report. The Bukit Aman Commercial Crime Investigation Department, CCID, has arrested 145 mule account holders in a 3-week nationwide operation against scammers. The operation targets those involved in cybercrime, including telecommunication, e-commerce, the Macau scam, as well as loan scams. Its acting director, Datuk Saiful Azli Kamarudin, said in 2017, a sum of 437 million ringgit was deposited to various accounts linked with the scam syndicate.
Operasi ini saya limitkan kepada akaun-akaun yang digunakan oleh suspek sebanyak 3 kali ke atas. 3 times and above. Dan kes-kes yang terlibat untuk 2 tahun saja. 90 lelaki, 55 perempuan. 90 males and 55 females between the age of 19 till 63 years old.
The syndicate targets the jobless, drug addicts, social workers, including students. The modus operandi was to transfer large sums of money into a chosen account only to be withdrawn soon after. Those willing to let their accounts be used by the scammers are paid between 100 and 300 ringgit if they rent out their ATM cards and bank accounts, while some are even paid between 250 and 550 ringgit if they sold their ATM cards. Transactions entered into mule accounts are typically money earned through fraud, such as the Macau scam, love scam and parcel scam. However, the police are not ruling out the possibility that some of the account holders were not aware of their bank account being used for the purpose. A 33-year-old Indonesian woman was found naked and murdered in her rented apartment room in Serdang, Selangor at about 5 p.m. on Thursday. It's believed the victim, identified as Jamilah Matshari, a part-time maid, was robbed and sexually assaulted before her body was discovered by her sister-in-law when she returned home from work. According to Surida Sadrum, aged 34, the victim's body was found on a bed in the room, and the apartment at Taman University Sri Kembangan had been ransacked. Some of the victim's personal belongings, such as a cell phone, money and jewellery, were also missing. Serdang District Police Chief ACP Ismadi Borhan said police have found 10 fingerprints inside the apartment. Initial investigations also showed the victim had strangulation marks on her neck, and authorities did not rule out that the victim was murdered earlier in the day. Her remains were sent to Serdang Hospital for autopsy. In Selangor, 6 doctors will be called to testify in an inquest to determine the cause of death of fireman Muhammad Adib Muhammad Kasim. They're among 30 witnesses who will give their statements in the 52-day inquest, which will commence on February 11th. Over in Malacca, a young couple were charged at the Ayer Keroh Magistrates Court with concealing the death of a child by secretly disposing its body. 20-year-old Muhammad Siddiq Amran and Nur Arisa Khairul Nizam, aged 21, pleaded guilty when the charge was read out before Magistrate Muhammad Firdaus Saleh. The couple were accused of concealing the birth of a baby named Nur Anisa and secretly burying the fetus at a paddy field in Bukit Rambai last Sunday. Meanwhile, at the Sessions Court, a man was sentenced to 4 years in jail and 2 strokes of the rotan for snatch theft. According to the charge sheet, the accused, 40-year-old Father Ahmad, had robbed a clutch bag belonging to a man at Jalan Pesisiran Bunga Raya Pantai, Malacca, on December 31st last year. In Perak, a Filipino man pleaded guilty at the Manjong Magistrates Court to possessing a fake MyCard last Tuesday. 49-year-old Wahid from Mindanao was fined 10,000 ringgit in lieu of 12 months jail after he was charged with possessing a fake Malaysian identity card bearing the name Nazir bin Ibrahim. In Pulau Pinang, police have busted a drug syndicate which mixes ecstasy with chocolate powder to evade detection. 3 syndicate members aged between 30 and 31 were arrested in Pulau Pinang and Perak, while drugs worth 1.3 million ringgit were seized. Still to come, the 3rd episode of Hot on Wheels. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. Nightline's auto segment continued this week with the 3rd episode of Hot on Wheels Advanced Driving. While host Sabrina Zainal has gone through 2 stages so far, let's have a look at what she needs to master this week.
Hi and welcome back to Hot on Wheels Advanced Driving. I'm Sabrina Vinyl. This is Azad Jazmi, our instructor.
Hello.
And this is episode 3. So I think we are about ready to go to the racetrack, right?
No, Sabrina, not yet, not too early.
Okay.
I think before we move on to the racetrack, we need to learn a few more things on the road.
Got it.
As a good driver, I think this is part of the defensive driving and also advanced driving. We are going to learn how to adjust the rear view mirror and also side mirror. These are the things that people mostly overlook because they say I've been driving for the last 20 years, 30 years or 50 years. But do you want to teach me how to adjust the rear view mirror? Yes. The most important thing about it is because we need to eliminate the blind spot.
Okay, got it. So how do people get it wrong? What's the right way to do it?
They get it wrong because they tend to adjust the side mirror and they want to look at the body of the vehicle. In actual fact, we need to actually get it as wide as possible, get the panoramic view of the side mirror. If you take a look at the side mirror, they tend to adjust the screen of the side mirror and they could see the body of their vehicle. This is wrong. The actual way is you have to adjust as wide as possible to ensure that you could see there. There is a big difference between the wrong way and the right way. Just now we can't really see the oncoming vehicle from the back, and now you could see the vehicle. So this is actually to widen the panoramic view of the driver. So this will go the same way on the left side. So how you want to know, you need to adjust on the left side of the screen here, just at the edge of the vehicle. So get it at the edge of the vehicle and you get the right or the outside view of the oncoming vehicle. So the rear view mirror, most people will tend to adjust it rightly. We have to put place the rear view mirror at the center of the back seat and also at the back, we call it screen. Okay.
So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. We've learned a lot so far, but even though these are small details that we need to look out for, it contributes to our safety, our comfort, and how smooth we can drive on the road. So what can we expect next? Are we heading to the track?
Yes, for the next and subsequent episode, we are going to learn, I think we have learned how to sit properly. For a subsequent episode, we are going to learn how to maneuver the car. Since we have learned how to properly sit and hold the steering, on the practical side, you are going to learn how to maneuver the car, how to turn the steering wheel, and how to go through the slalom. And we also learn about the braking techniques on the wet condition, dry condition, the car with ABS, with non-ABS, and a lot more. So these are the characteristics and I would say the behavior of the driver equipped with the advanced driving and also defensive driving. It's going to be very interesting.
Okay, so another step to becoming a race driver, maybe, right? No, okay, never mind. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Come back next week for more Hot on Wheels events.